You're listening to Justice League Dimension Leap. This is ridiculous, shouted Diana. He's wasting our time on a wild story when he should be telling us why he's impersonating Steve. She pinched the perceived fraud's cheek, dragging him up to the door of the cell. Are you wearing a mask, or did you surgically alter your face? What kind of witchcraft is this? Gotham! Trevor gasped. Gotham wasn't there. Batman took hold of Diana's wrist, but she didn't budge. What do you mean Gotham wasn't there? She demanded. Trevor struggled. After a few weeks of being lost, I returned to the tower where I'd been held captive to try and find some answers. It was completely abandoned, but all their equipment was still there. Schematics, maps, machines that I came to understand only toward the end. On their screens were complete layouts of the area, and I used those to help me find where I was. But there were cities missing, major ones that should have been there, like Gotham City. They call it Harlem there. Same place, different name. Diana glanced suspiciously at Bruce, who motioned her to keep listening. For hours, I pored through their files until I discovered one marked Trevor. I tore through reading the file that had every piece of irrelevant information listed: blood type, eye color, shoe size, and dimension of origin. Trevor started to get excited, making Diana all the more uncomfortable. How did you get back? She said. They have a back room labeled Caution, Vortex, with hazard signs all around. It sounds ridiculous. I had seen that sign 100 times over the years, never realizing what it was for. Everything, even the coordinates to plug into the machine for my dimension jump, were in my file. All I had to do was fire up the machine, enter the codes, and bang, I'm here. It's almost like somebody set it up, wanting me to go through. It's clear someone did, responded Batman. He's a lunatic, fumed Diana in Bruce's living room. It's all too crazy, too convenient that he's here, how he got back, how easy he found all this information. Even if he's telling the truth, whoever was in charge of that facility he was in clearly set him up for his return. I agree, responded Batman. That's why I wanted you to hear him out. It's not that I actually believe he's Steve Trevor or that he's even telling the truth, but somebody sent him here. Somebody wants to get our attention, and particularly yours. Diana's shoulders relaxed, and she stared at the floor. Then she slowly raised her head. What do you expect me to do? You mean, what do I expect us to do? Countered Batman. I want to prove his theory. I want to see if we can jump dimensions like he says he did. Diana, who had begun pacing the floor, shook her head. And then what? Let's say we cross dimensions. We cross over into the one that he came from, and we walk right into a trap. What then? That's exactly what I'm counting on, Diana. I want to spring the trap and find out what this man's captors want from us. And you. Diana paused and sighed. She knew she would never sleep, knowing that someone wanted so badly to get her attention that they sent her the living image of what meant most to her. It seemed the task now was thrust upon her. I still don't like it, she said, turning to Batman, but it sounds like we need to at least give it a try. Give what a try? Exclaimed John Stewart. The 7 members of the original Justice League sat around the meeting table, discussing the testimony of this man who called himself Steve Trevor. This idea is crazy. First you want us to believe the word of a liar, then you want us to build some kind of portal into another dimension that you can't even identify, and then you want some of our elite members to jump through it because you think someone on the other side wants you to. This doesn't make any sense. Diana looked uncomfortably at Bruce, sitting next to her at the end of the table. She didn't really like the idea of this plan either, but she also couldn't sit by while somebody tried to manipulate her emotions without knowing why. You're exaggerating what we're asking, said Bruce coolly. We know this trap was set for Diana, especially given who the imposter looks like. I want to set off the trap ourselves, without putting this dimension at risk, which is why we need to go to this alternate dimension and set it off there. Why not just ignore the stranger, instead of giving him exactly what he wants, interjected Shaira. Make the people who clearly sent him to us think we didn't fall for it, and force them to try again. And risk them sending more imposters here, retorted Batman. Sorry, it was easy enough to pinpoint that this guy didn't belong. But what if they send over here a clone of someone who does exist, and we don't find out until it's too late? What if they already have, suggested John Jones. How do we know any of us haven't been replaced? This suggestion brought them all to silence, as they all stared around at each other nervously. Finally, Superman, who was sitting at the head of the table, broke the moment. I agree with Batman that we should work to prevent more imposters from coming through. However, I also agree that we're probably doing exactly what Trevor's handlers want us to do. That's why I think the members of the Justice League that should be volunteers only, led by Batman and Diana. Diana looked at Batman and nodded. Batman turned back to Superman in agreement. I'm sure we'll have volunteers, but if it's just me and Diana that go, that should be sufficient. Excellent, responded Superman, looking around the table at the rest of the members who nodded in agreement. There's just one question, chimed in the Flash for the first time. How do you guys plan on making this dimension leap?